What I dreamed was like people that made it. I was just so skewed, man. And the people that were like, you know, just doing all the wrong things in life were the people that I looked up to. And it was a sad place to be because it took me down a dark, dark path, man. I think I was in and out of jail for probably 10 times before I was even an adult, man. I was considered a designated felon. The cops back then, they would look at me like, I can't wait for you to turn an adult because we're going to light you up. That was a wake-up call.
What's that? Oh yeah, I'm just talking about Speakeasy Aesthetics, the full-service med spa located here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Just a few of the many services they offer are Botox, filler, PRP treatments, laser tattoo removal, laser skin resurfacing, and more. Most importantly, the team at Speakeasy Aesthetics is top-notch, and I promise that you can trust them with any of your aesthetic needs. If you've been thinking about a refresh, enhancing, or self-care, this is your sign to book an appointment. Go check out their website at speakeasyaesthetics.com, and you can find them on Instagram and Facebook at Speakeasy Aesthetics. They're located at 804 North Thompson Lane, Suite 2B in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Or give them a shout at 615-473-1931. And hey, tell them that you heard it here. You ready to get rolling?
Yeah, let's do it.
What is up, everybody? This is Joe Adams, and welcome to the Relentless Pursuit Podcast. What we do on this podcast is bringing guests from all different backgrounds, all different walks of life, to share their journey and everything along the way that led them to where they're at today. We're here to make an impact, and that is what we do. So if that is for you, please like, subscribe, all those amazing things. And if that is not for you, I don't know what your problem is, but you need to jump on board. Thank you. But without further ado, I would love to introduce today's guest, Mr. Chris Knowles.
All right, let's go.
Yo.
Excited to be here.
Welcome, dude.
Appreciate you having me.
Hell yeah, man. It's an honor to have you. We've been talking for the past hour, but it's been great, man. Getting to know each other. It's been super chill, and I'm always grateful for the...
No awkward moments.
No, yeah, that's the thing. This is a good feeler. It's like, in my mind, I'm like, all right, how am I going to approach this thing? Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, it was great. So let's just keep the ball rolling. Let's do it. And now it's all about you. Okay. By the way, this is not brought to you by Ghost, but it should be. Got the new Warheads Black Cherry.
It's good too. It tastes just like the label says it should taste. Shout out to Ghost.
Damn. Dude, they nail their flavors.
Yeah.
That's the thing about Ghost. Like, whatever it says on the can, you're going to get that. So good job, guys. I'm here every episode drinking Ghost. Maybe y'all will see.
A little mishap with the Ghost earlier, but we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, I might throw it in just like that. That'll be the intro. Yeah. And then go into like, I'm going to do something fun with it. If you don't mind.
I don't care.
Hey, shit happens, dude. I've spilled mine. Just, I don't want to hit the stuff.
We're human.
We're human, dude. Yep. Yeah, exactly. It's funny. It reminds me of, I always throw like my stuff in the laundry hamper. Well, like when I'm up about to leave, my wife's still asleep. And I just kind of throw it to the hamper. Well, yesterday morning, there was a glass right there.
Yep.
With water. I guess she had set there. And I threw like my shirt and I heard whoosh, and like glass just shattered everywhere. She's like, what is that? And I'm like, damn it, man.
Oh, man.
It's one of those things, dude.
Yeah.
So there's glass all over my floor. But anyways, Chris. So for those of you that don't know of Chris Knowles, he's a local here. And we've known of each other for some time. I guess people have said, you got to meet Joe, which means a lot, actually.
Yeah.
And I've heard about you. I really don't know how, but we got tagged in the same thing on Facebook one day for another podcast. And I was like, I recognize this guy. I'm just going to reach out to him. And here you are, dude. So thank you for coming in, man. I hear you from what I know, you've got quite the story.
Yeah, appreciate it. And excited to tell you about it.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, where do you want me to start?
Well, so real quick, what is it that you do now in your life? And then we'll take it back.
Yeah, so today, I run True Friends Moving Company. That's like, my busiest part of my day is running that business. We do moving, storage, packing, local, long distance, all over Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
And then outside of that, I mean, family, real estate, investments, you know, and family for the most part. That spends, you know, all my free time. But of course, I love to train and exercise, big part of my day as well. Currently doing 75 hard right now.
I had that down to ask you about. How's that going?
It's going strong, man. Day 27, feeling like a champ. Already feeling it, seeing it. You know, got 6 more weeks to go, so I'm already getting dialed in. Got a trainer for the first time in my life. You know, 2 weeks in.
Shout out to Sequoia.
Shout out to Sequoia. Yeah, kicking my butt. I was wobbling in here today from doing legs 2 days ago.
Hell yeah, man.
Appreciate you, brother.
But, dude, that's awesome, man. And I meant to ask you about the 75 hard. You know, sorry, I got the little one snoring down here. You're good. With the 75 hard, you know, I've always appreciated it. I've actually never done it, but I don't really drink, or I don't know. I just do my thing, and I kind of got my own structure I follow, and I have. But I've always thought about just giving it a shot because I know I can.
Yeah. It's way more mental than physical.
Yeah, and the mental shit, dude. I mean, if you can be a small business owner for any amount of time, you got the mental shit. You can do it.
Well, just so you know, I think there was so I've got a men's group, like accountability group that I signed up with when I was going to start it this year.
Nice.
This is my 3rd year in a row, but I think we started off with about 18 guys, and we're down to about 6. You know, only just a few weeks in. So, I mean, it's definitely hard. Anybody can, you know, find an excuse on why they didn't do it this day or why they didn't do that. But, you know, it's really, do you really want it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've went through, I had a flu one time last year, got my wisdom teeth taken out one time. Like, there was just no excuses. I pushed through it and did it. And, I mean, I just used it as, you know, what I needed to get back on track for the year, man.
That's what I like. Yeah, that's what you had said when we spoke last week, that you do it. It's like a yearly thing that you do to kick off the year. And I think that's great, because my only gripe with it in the past is just I've spoken to some people that have done it, and then like as soon as they're over, they like just go into shitty habits. So I think for a lot of people, it's like, not trying to be ugly, but it's like, don't do something to that degree just to go back to your shitty habits. Let it set the trajectory of how you live your life. You don't have to be 75 hard every day for the rest of your life, but use it as a starting point to like tune up your discipline a bit.
Definitely.
But that's essentially what you do.
Yeah, I mean, I train all year round. I'm going to eat pretty healthy all year round. I mean, but I will have an occasional drink, cheat meals. I mean, with 75, you're dang near perfect every day as far as like what you do and what you can't do. So it's just a good kickstart to my year. Plus, it gets you in great shape before summertime, you know.
Yeah, for sure,
By
man.
the time March 15th hits, what is that, St. Patty's Day this year.
Yeah.
I'll be, you know, jacked. So feeling good, get going into summer. So, that's a good way. And you got a group of guys that's doing it with you. So, I mean, the brotherhood's there. So, it's fun, man.
Dude, the accountability aspect's huge too. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, that said, props to you for doing that. Yep. I like to see what you're doing, man. Sounds like you got some great things going on, but there's been a journey that's brought you here. So take us back, man. Take us to the early days of Chris.
Yeah.
Little Chris.
Okay.
Where are you from? Speak on, you know, speak on your childhood, some of the influences there along the way, good, bad, necessary, all the in-betweens, and and maybe some things that kind of molded you that stick out, and then we'll just take it all the way to now.
Okay. So, you know, I'm from Macon, Georgia, small town in middle Georgia. You know, grew up single mom all my life. You know, we kind of struggled. There was times that, you know, our lights would get turned off. There was times that, you know, that we may have gotten the car repoed or something like that. You know, I'd pull up to school in a hoopty or something. You know, there were so many times I remember back in the day. I mean, but at the same time, the love was never, you know, I was never lacking any love or like respect from my mom. I love that woman to death. I mean, she always worked like 2 jobs just to make sure like we always got what we needed. Luckily, I have an awesome aunt too that always lived pretty close by, man, was always like a second mom almost. Nice. Just never had a real father figure in my life though. So I just kind of had to figure it out on my own, you know. Growing up that way in a rough part of town, you know, you kind of had to grow up faster than others.
Yeah.
You know, started.
Yeah. Macon's not like, you know, the best part, you know, from what I know. I grew up in Georgia most of my life, so it's not like the easiest place to be.
It's pretty rough, man. As far as like I think the schools, the income. I mean, it's just a rough part of the country, really.
Yeah.
But I'm thankful for it. I mean, I honestly try to get out of there as early as I could, but I'm still thankful for it. I mean, I'm still, friends with a lot of great people there. But at the same time, I have to distance myself from a lot of the people I used to as well, because they're just maybe not, going anywhere anytime soon. So I just got to know when to, have that mutual, boundaries for myself and where I want to go. And, but always there for everybody trying to get to that next level,
Dude, 100%. Yeah, I do got a question. So as far as your father, have you contacted your, birth father at all, or have you ever spoken to him or nothing?
Never. So my mom, man, when I say like she was young, single mom, she had me when she was 16. To me, that today, I mean, that's a kid, she's a kid with a kid. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. So I always had the young, cool mom. I mean, that's great. But, like as far as like stability or what I, maybe have needed to keep me on the right track, I didn't necessarily have that. She worked in a bar, all my life. I grew up like, playing pool, out being around like alcohol, smoking weed, things like that was always just normal as a little kid. Most childhoods that ain't even normal, but to me it was just like a day in the life. I always eat my food, my dinner like was commonly like either some wings or pizza from behind the bar.
And I'd imagine like you kind of laugh at it because it's your life and you've embraced it, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it's nothing against your mom because she was young and she was doing the best she could.
Yeah.
But I imagine like, you're not raising your daughters in that environment. You know what I'm saying? So obviously you didn't want that to be the future for your kids.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this, where I'm at now versus how I grew up. I mean, like I said, there was definitely no lack of love, but I always try to, show them what I didn't have. And that's, being the right type of father figure in their life, how to be a positive role model for them, doing what's right, whether that's reading, training, learning, everything about the culture as far as how to raise a young lady. That's my goal now. I have 2 daughters, so
yeah, beautiful, man. That's awesome. And so, going up through, grade school age and all that stuff. I don't know, were you involved with like sports, or were you just kind of like a little crazy kid?
So when I got at age 7, actually, yeah. I mean, I loved sports. I was I was into baseball, t-ball, and then I got hit by a car when I was 7.
Damn.
That took me out, man. So I had to get my like my left lat taken out, put in my leg. I had to get a skin graft. So that took me out for like a solid year, and then after that, man, my sports career was like put on hold. So I couldn't even do PE or anything, man. I was just kind of sitting out as a kid, that got me kind of more out of shape. I was never fat or chubby or nothing like that, but definitely wasn't as athletic as I could because I literally couldn't move. I went from having to be in a wheelchair to having to be on crutches, physical therapy. I mean, it was a long process just to get back on track. So, but as far as sports and everything, didn't really go that direction with it. And also just didn't really have that the family that was available to buy all the things needed to play sports or the time needed to play sports. Yeah. So that just wasn't an option, man. I went home and just went outside and played with the neighborhood, running the neighborhood like a just like I said, growing up on my own, and I pretty much raised myself as far as like outside of school. Mom always worked late, like I said, 2 jobs, but I would for the most part, she would run me home some food from the bar, and but I was always just running the streets, man. Dude. From as long as I can remember, getting in trouble, doing dumb stuff, and all the way up, till really when I was a teenager, man, still like. Oh man, it got pretty rough. I didn't get any better. So, I got actually my last grade I completed was 8. So I have an 8th grade education. I got expelled in 9th grade, selling weed. Yeah. That was in my 7th and 8th grade. It was a joke, man. I think there was only a few white kids even in my class. Not that says anything, but just in the community that I was in, man, and the school that I was able to go to, I feel like they just passed me just because the teacher was white. I mean, white privilege may have been a thing where I was. Yeah. Because I definitely did not learn a damn thing in that middle school, and it was a joke. Like the kids ran the school. Kids are ran over the teachers, and it was a joke.
Really?
So by the time I got to a decent high school, like I just didn't really fit in at school at all. Like I would skip, dang near every day. It was rough, man. And like I said, didn't make it past the middle of that first year, 9th grade. And then, of course, that puts me with a lot more free time. Age 14, I'm just literally don't have school, don't have anything else to do. I'm just getting.
Did your mom know? Like, was she aware that you were?
Yeah. So I got expelled, 9th grade. They were like, you got to go to what is it called, alternative school. And then, so first day I go to alternative school and I was like, oh, this is not for me at all. These kids are just reckless as hell. I felt like I still had I feel like I was more professional than them, but I was more reckless than the people.
You're like, I have some sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I got there, man, I was like, this is not for me, bro. Within 1 hour, I literally walked out the back door, started walking towards my house. My mom was going to work. She passed me walking to the mall, Macon Mall in Macon, Georgia. And she slams on brakes in her little car, backs up, was like, get in the car. So mad. And I was like, Mom, I'm never going back to that school again. I'm sorry. So at that point, it was I was kicked out of school. I wasn't going to that school. So I stayed home, which, gave me a lot more free time to get, to do even worse things than before. So now I'm just my day was smoking weed, trying to sell drugs, doing just piddly stuff, man, just to try to make ends meet. Little hustler, just making just enough to really just, carry on that fun lifestyle. People would skip school back in, to come over to my house. Anybody to skip, they would come over to Chris's house because I was the only one available.
He ain't a student. He's got the. Yeah.
Mom was already gone from there, so I pretty much just ran that. And
that's a lot of freedom for a kid that age,
bro. It was a wild time, and it just got worse and worse. Started oh man, we started just running with different people. At that point, the only men in my life was older people that was ballers back then, and they're just if you're riding on dubs in a caddy or something, you're a baller back then.
You made it. Yeah.
My lifestyle what I dreamed was people that made it. I was just so skewed, man. And the people that were just doing all the wrong things in life were the people that I looked up to. And it was a sad place to be because it took me down a dark, dark path, man, as far as got into drugs, got into burglary, robbing people, just a really dark path, man. In and out of jail constantly. I think I was in and out of jail for probably 10 times before I was even an adult, man. I was considered a designated felon before I was even an adult. So in a little hometown like me, where I lived, the cops, back then they would look at me I can't wait for you to turn an adult because we're going to light you up. And at that, that was a wake up call for sure.
The cops were like, we're tired of dealing with your shit, dude.
Yeah. So I used to pull out of my driveway and they'd whip me and, try to see what we had on us, things like that. It's just, the town that I was in, man, it's just a tough place to be for a kid. So I literally had to either change or go to prison or something stupid. Cause once you become an adult, you're not going to these 90-day, 6-month boot camps like I was in and out of at that point in my life. And it was tough, man. But I had to grow up real fast and try to get away. Thankfully, by about 1 year later.
Not to interrupt. When was this? How old are you now?
Well, I think we're up to about maybe 16 or 17. There was years.
So
from 14 to 17, there was just in and out of jail, doing dumb stuff, trying to, there was no work in any of this. I was just constantly hustling, doing silly stuff.
All right, we're right back into it, bro.
Let's go.
I wanted to ask a couple questions before we evolve into it further. When I ask how old are you now? Right now? What?
Right now?
Well, yeah, 40. 40? So this was back in...
This is 2002. This is when I would have been, graduating essentially, but I'm in and out of youth detention centers and boot camp, constantly.
You think a lot of this has to do, I feel like it's safe to say a lot of this probably is the absence of a father too.
I'm sure. It's so cliche to say,
that father figure, because that does have, statistically, that has a massive influence.
Statistically, I was playing the part of exactly what the state, said I should be based off, a kid that don't have a father.
100%, you see there is that there because the father does typically implement the disciplinary side or something. I'm not saying every father does. There's a lot of fathers that just are there, you know what I'm saying? So, But
I think all the free time, like looking up to the wrong people, not going into sports, but more so all the free time and having the wrong people around you, took me down a dark path.
Yeah, I mean, that's mostly what it was about, and there's something I want to touch on later with that. As far as you've been talking about, you said something about boundaries, which is important to dive into, but we won't get there yet. So now moving forward, so you said you haven't really shared this with a lot of people, right? So I appreciate you doing that though, because like when we get to where you're at currently in the journey, I think it's really important to highlight that. Definitely. Because it shows that anybody has potential, no matter where the hell they've been, you know what I'm saying, to like completely flip their life around. So I'm already envisioning that, and I think it's fucking awesome. So I want you to dive in further, man, and keep taking us on, man. You were on the track. Yeah.
So, I mean, after realizing that I needed to either get away from, the area that I was, and there was a whole world out there. Actually, the girl that I was with, at the time, I mean, we was considered, I guess, like my high school sweetheart per se, but, she was a girl that I liked even since middle school. Me and her ended up moving to California together. Surprisingly, it was like, man, I need to get as far away from Georgia as I can, or I'm going to keep going down the wrong path.
How old were you when you moved to California?
18. 18. So yeah, it was, we just got a little U-Haul. I had a little Blazer at the time, man. And, I just remember loading it up. I had never driven a U-Haul or, anything like that prior to that. And, just put it on and traveled all the way across this country, man, in 3 days. And, just didn't know what we were going to do, but just knew Macon, Georgia was not it. So decided to go there, and it opened my eyes. I actually got into the auto industry there, met people that, were doing the right things, started getting into like working out, weight training, like reading books, doing the things that I feel like I really should have been doing. It really took what I really wanted for my life anyway, but, it's just constantly around the wrong, people and habits and places that just were going nowhere, too fast. So getting away, man, really opened my eyes. Even though me and her like grew into different people within probably a year and a half, I mean, I definitely learned a lot through getting away, and I definitely thank her for that. But about a year and a half later, I actually personally moved to Las Vegas. By myself.
What did she do? She just stayed.
She actually went back to Georgia, surprisingly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
She's still in Georgia, so as far as I know. But we, I moved to Vegas by myself, so it was just a few hours from San Diego, and it was a cool city, man. I was like, 19, 20. I've lived there for a couple of years. It was an awesome city to live. Again, looked in the automotive industry. This was like back in 2008 at this point, and we're looking at. I got into the industry. I was out there for a couple of years, and the market started tanking actually in 2008. So after I've been out there, the company that I was with, man, awesome group of guys, man. It really opened my eyes to what real wealth was. I mean, these guys were making like 10 grand a week in the auto industry. They were doing,
they were actual ballers.
They were actual ballers. Yeah. I mean, just like, dang, they're living in a mansion with a walk, beach entry, pool, and grotto. I remember this because I'm just like a young guy, and I was like, wow, this is real. Unheard of where I'm from. This is like, the lifestyle was insane. So it was a fun place to live. But like when it was tanking, they were like, look, we're moving back. We're pulling out of Vegas. We're moving back to Nashville. I was like, and we want to keep you. So I'm like, I don't have any roots in Vegas, and I'd love to still get back to the South, where I'm from, closer to my mom and family. When I say family, I've got 2 little sisters now. So,
okay. Just
to backtrack a little bit, my mom started all back over with 2 girls. When I'm leaving the house at 16, like she started all over with a girl. So I've got 2 baby sisters now.
Oh shoot.
Yeah.
So they're like super young.
How old
are they now?
Now they're like 22 and 18.
Okay, that's crazy because it's like still like way younger. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's way younger.
It's half your age.
It's almost like a dad figure than a brother figure.
Yeah.
I literally got my little sister her first car, things like that.
Cool.
So I try to, give to them any chance I can, man.
Yeah, of course.
She actually recently just moved into her own place and made sure filled the whole moving truck up with just furniture from things that we had received from people and donations, things like that. Because best part about being in the moving industry is we get amazing furniture. People try to give away often. Mm-hmm. So I had a whole unit. So when she came up here, she pretty much got to pick and choose what she wanted, and left back with a fully furnished place that I was able to provide for her.
Nice, dude.
Good big brother things like that.
That's awesome, bro.
Not to get off track, but that's a cool little full circle moment.
No, 100%. I'm glad you shared that. Yeah.
Yes, sir. And then going back, so I moved to Nashville, boom. I was back in the South, man. I knew this was my home. Like I could just relate to people better. Actually, I had met my wife within the first year. Even though I was in the automotive industry back then, market was still kind of just up and down. When we started dating, we dated for 4 years before we got married. So, I feel like we went the right path. I was working got out of the auto industry, went to work at Dell. Did corporate sales with them for a while, like a few years. That was amazing. Thought I was doing good. But I was always hitting the glass ceiling. Like I was always killing it in sales and would always get like capped on my commission, capped. And so,
come on, guys.
Yeah. One summer that I guess I didn't even mention, but one summer I had done some moving, like just to get some like side money back in my hometown. And it was pretty cool. I mean, it was like one of my only real jobs back then. But just briefly, I mean, just the company that I was with, though, that I was working with at the time, their company was well off. And I always thought, man, I'd love to own my own moving company one day. And then, obviously didn't, got into more trouble and went to jail and things. But, 15 years later, I was looking back and I'm like, man, I think it's the time to start a moving company.
Dude.
So I'm sitting there capping out every month, doing good. Like I was finally at that like 6-figure mark when most people were like, you made it. I'm just like, man, there's more to this. Cause I'm like, I feel like I was getting plateaued. So decided to start my own moving business.
I got to ask, so you met your wife here in Nashville.
Yeah.
But like at this time, have you like evolved past like the kind of partying, like recklessness, or were you still kind of
recklessness? Yes. So, I mean, definitely past that. I mean, that part of my life, like once I moved away, I mean, I feel like I got rid of that.
That was just like a whole shift.
Yeah. Going out, hanging out like grown folks is different, but like as just being reckless. Yeah. I mean, once I moved away and like realized that, that's just not the lifestyle for me, it just opened my eyes. So yeah, I mean, once I got here, I mean, we still hung out and, kicked it some nights, had some long nights, things like that. But nothing like I was still always at work the next day.
Yeah, for sure.
I was responsible and I wasn't doing silly stuff where I would go to jail or prison anymore.
That's cool. So you learned how to like have some self-control.
Of course.
Cool.
Yeah. I grew up.
Big time.
I grew up.
Yeah.
That's
the way you wanted
to,
to, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that's freaking awesome, man. I did want to touch on this before we move further. There's something to be said about fresh starts. A lot of people will be like, oh, you just want to run away. And it's like, bro, some people just
moving out of your hometown is a life hack.
Bro, I tell you what, like, and not to knock my hometown.
Yeah.
But I couldn't imagine staying there. Like, I don't know. Like, I imagine how the path would have been had I stayed. And, I told you, like, before I was addicted to pills. Like, I don't know. It's hard to just imagine because that wasn't even who I am. Yeah. But moving, whether it's joining the military or just driving off in a U-Haul across the country and just starting somewhere new where you know nobody and now you got to make it.
Yeah.
And even then, like, say, like some ballers or whoever that can get you involved with sketchy stuff, like in a new place, you don't know them either. So you're like, you have no choice but to go get an actual job and then learn how to grow from there.
It was tough. Yeah, absolutely. It was tough to leave. I mean, without into the unknown, but every part of my life that was like, a big changing point in my life was like I leveled up. Anytime that happened, anytime something big happened, I would come out and level up every time. And so I told, my mom and friends, like, I'm leaving. I'm not coming back until I make it.
Yeah.
I'm still out here just trying to make it. I still hadn't been back. So, I still obviously go to visit, but that was just kind of like my thought process when I left. I was like, man, I'm just running in circles here.
Yeah, for sure.
I got to get out of here and I'll be back if, when I make it, if and when.
Dude, that's huge, man. I appreciate the fact that you did that. I mean, because a lot of people just get stuck, man. They stay in the same cycle. And I know people, that have reached out to me, they're the same cycles as, X amount of years ago. And I'm like, damn, man, it's just kind of crazy to visualize and try to put myself in that. And
well, a lot of times people get stuck because maybe they have kids or family there that kind of keep them there, and then that's all they know. So good is the enemy of great, man. anytime I'd have something, good, it took like, opening my hand to try to, see what else there is, available to me. But it always, helped me level up for sure.
Dude, comfort. So I got saying comfort's a slow death.
Definitely.
And it's like, I think a lot of people stay because maybe it's not the life they envision or that they want, but they're comfortable in that because it's all they know. And something foreign, like moving across the country, just, man, fear, man, holds people back. We talked about that potential, man. But like, until you're willing to step into that, you're going to stay comfortable. So you got to be willing to step into the unknown.
Going on a backpacking trip in like Asia.
yeah.
That's a story.
Dude, it's a crazy story. But like, take those steps into the unknown and just embrace it.
Yeah.
And the things that come from that are going to be so beneficial to your growth, man, as it's shown with your story. So, man, props to you for that. I think that's amazing. And I did want to ask you one thing too regarding that, because you talked about boundaries. So I'm curious as to see like what those boundaries look like and like how people take them, right? Because you said you've had to learn how to like set boundaries, like what does that look like to you?
Yeah. I mean, to me, like habits and routines, man, at this point in my life are everything, people often, think I might do too much or like are always trying to like build and grow and do the next thing. But like, I feel like my routine, man, really just helps keep me on track, where, having a wife and family and kids really keeps me grounded. Like I have that routine. Like I wake up, I, get my girl, like the routines are great, but I've built it. I mean, it's my life that I desire, but it's created by design. Everything that I do is just kind of laid out, scheduled, planned. I mean, I got parts for like, training, getting my girls up, getting them ready, get them to school, like shoot across the street, work out. I go to the office, I'm already pumped. Like that's the first win for the day.
Yeah.
After that, like nothing can stop you, man. And, have the different, people in place for my business at this point. I mean, there's so many things that like we jumped over, but, at this point in my life, boundaries and like just schedule and habits is everything, man. It keeps me grounded, helps keep me on the right track, and I need that because my personality, man. You could always say that you've outgrown like your old ways, but I'm sure if I was single or something silly, it wouldn't be nothing to go back down the wrong paths just because you've done that before. But I feel like I'm in a great place right now, man. That nothing's gonna pull me away, man, because I got my sights set. I got my blinders on to the BS and I'm dialed in, but that comes from my habits and my routines.
Yeah. And I think as people, as human beings, we're not meant to be alone. And I think finding I praise my wife all the time because I was, had restructured myself a lot. But when I met her, I was like, I want to be the best man I can. Because I saw a future with her that wasn't grim. I just saw like it was beautiful.
Yep.
And like that's I give her mad props because she changed my life, man. And I think having the right person in your life will do everything. Go through the breakups, go through the heartbreak, call off a wedding because that might be necessary for you to find that. Because that'll, as you've probably seen, that's been so beneficial to your life moving forward.
Definitely.
The last thing on the boundaries too is that oftentimes, I think setting boundaries can be hard because you almost feel guilty for it. Because people will be like, you've changed or this and that. And it's like, they don't know your life. And then you get stuck in a really tough place. It's like either give them the access they've always had and fall short on my responsibilities, or pursue your responsibilities how you need to do so they don't fail. Either way, you're going to feel this kind of guilty feeling.
So I don't
but you're not going to, only one leads to resentment. You get what I'm saying? Because if you give people, okay, they need more time with me, but I got to do this.
I feel like there's not been these game-changing like changes in my life where I'm just like, you've changed into a new man. But absolutely, I've definitely evolved and grown. But I've like taken people through the journey. Like I've the people that I love, admire, and respect. I mean, I've stayed in contact with them. I'm still friends with like tons of my friends from my hometown.
That's cool.
I mean, or whether it's social media even. I mean, I've showed them the process, like how hard we've worked from like just buying a little truck, getting out there on the moving truck. Like, it's so easy to look at it now, like just even though like we've made it or like have a cool car or like a nice house and things, but like looking back, there's so like it's 10 years of like 100-hour weeks of like putting in the work and the grit and the grind to really get to that point. So like changing is a good thing, but like evolving it's a pace, it's a process,
Yeah, for sure.
As you share that, I feel like is a big part of that.
Yeah.
Because nothing happens overnight, man. And it's just been a fun ride for sure.
Nice, man. Hell yeah. Well, so now diving back into the journey.
Yeah.
Just a couple of questions I had. Excuse me. So this is at the time you said you were like, oh, it came full circle. You wanted to start a
moving company.
Yep. And I do want to say, because you have a wife, 2 daughters.
Yep.
You have 2 younger sisters and a mother.
Yeah.
And then your aunt.
A lot of women.
So you've been surrounded by women. Yeah. So that's.
I have a boy dog, by the way.
A boy dog. Okay. But what I find really interesting about that is like, makes me want to ask, like, have you had any mentors along the way? Like any men maybe like in positions above you that like you really are really like, hey, kind of taking you under their reins that you kind of want to shout out or acknowledge or no?
I mean, yeah. So I got into like self-help, personal development, like things like that. Where I was more like where I would sign up for like a mentorship for either as a men's group.
Yeah.
10X Grant Cardone was a big part of that. I feel like. I mean, there's been some great mentors and friends that I've known and have grown with over the years. Jeff Suter, I mean, he's a good buddy of mine, and we kind of went the same path for the last 15 years of turning our lives around and, being stable with family and business and growth. And
didn't you mention him to me last week?
I did. Yeah, he lives in Murfreesboro. I was hoping y'all would connect. And
we do got to connect.
Come out for sure.
All right.
I mean, there's been so many guys, but definitely comes to mind as far as someone that I could definitely personally give a shout out to, and followed the same path from just being young, reckless to growing.
Yeah.
Chris Hamrick, man, another one of my best friends. He actually was from my hometown, man, and surprisingly we live here now. And same thing, man. Young, reckless, like we used to just do some of the silliest stuff back in the day, and now we have the right path. We have the wife, the kids, the businesses dialed in. So we've grown together, man. It's good to have those kind of friends that you take not necessarily take with you, but follow that same path of doing the right thing. And
you just like tip your hat at them, like, even if you don't talk. And I've got friends like I've made relationships over the past few years that like dudes in maybe different businesses or something like that, but like we look up to each other in different ways.
Yeah.
Like, and we communicate, and we may see each other like once a quarter.
Yeah.
But it's like when we do get together, it's like, bro, it's so solid. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Those kind of people are definitely important in your life.
100%, man. Good shit, dude. Well, appreciate you highlighting them, man. Shout out to you guys. Come on the podcast. But now moving forward, getting into the moving stuff.
Yeah. Started a moving company. So man, this was a big point. This was we just hit our 13-year anniversary in September. So we've been doing it for a while.
Congratulations.
Now, thank you. At the time, man, I just bought a little moving truck. It was like an old U-Haul 17-footer. Didn't know a thing about running a business, but knew how to sell. Knew how to brand okay. I mean, luckily I went with blue. It's kind of my staple. Got the big blue trucks. I've always rocking blue for the most part. Always branding, and just grew from that one truck up to now we have like 22 trucks. We've gotten into storage, few locations. We do local, long distance. I mean, we're all over and growing.
Nice.
I mean, it took really just fine tuning what I did, and obviously got off the moving truck as soon as I could, because there was I can't scale if I'm on the moving truck doing the moves, answering the phones. It's so funny back then. I remember getting a call because I'd always be working on the job. I'm trying to call the people back, in between moves, even in between like the load and the unload. Somebody would call, like complain about the driver, and I'm like, oh, I'll let them know, like, no, it's me. It's funny place to be, man. But looking back, I mean, it was so much fun that point of my business. I mean, just starting, on the ground, with the guys, the camaraderie and everything, and just being, like working with your peers, your friends, and have always been big on culture, man. That's one of the biggest reasons I feel like we've grown and just dominated our Middle Tennessee, because our culture is like no other. I mean, we try to give back to our guys. I mean, we do like team builders, giveaways, all kinds of stuff that I feel like just really sets us apart from the rest.
Yeah.
And it's really helped us grow, man, and just have an awesome culture.
Yeah, they're more than just like employees or whatever. They're like a part of the.
Bro,
you try to create that family atmosphere.
We say true friends for life because, like, we don't have any like disgruntled employees. They might be mad at the moment because they did something silly to get let go.
Yeah.
They will always, like a month later, whether it's 1 month later or 6 months later, call me back, apologize, tell me that how much they respect me and like how much they were a goofball at the time and got let go. But they're the ones that missed out. But yeah, we're a family for life, man.
That's cool. They're humble about it. Yeah.
Yeah. And moving, it's not a career, this is a stepping stone. So I try to be the type of guy that, shows them the type of leadership and things that they can do to be a better man, employee, father, whatever. Right? Not really a role model, but just try to be like, just show them the right way. Be the kind of guy I didn't have, because a lot of times, moving, these aren't college grads that are doing this. So these people might have gone the wrong route. If they're doing moving, they may have came out of a halfway house or something like that, and they're trying to get find out what's really important to them in life. So giving them that healthy place to work, the type of structure, leadership and things that they need. That that's one of the biggest highlights of my job. Honestly, a bunch of young men that we get to work with like that every day.
Hell yeah.
Wish I only had that growing up.
Dude, I love it. You get so passionate about it. Like you truly are invested into it in so many different ways. And I also appreciate that. Like, I don't know, you're too humble to say it, but like you are a role model. Like I'll tell you, you are a role model of these guys, man, because you hearing your story so far and where you've come from. And I appreciate people like that so much. We got a mutual friend or someone you may know, Michael Rishbeck.
Yeah.
Mike and I have been close for a long time, man. But Mike, dude, he shared his story, man. Yep. Very similar beginnings in a lot of ways. And, was chaos, but like Mike's got his family now and the dude busts his ass, man. I have so much respect for that, because even growing up, you'll hear people make excuses for, well, it's because of this and how their family was, or, and don't get me wrong. Like I have compassion for certain circumstances, but at the same time, like you guys, it all comes down to choice. And so y'all are role models. So like I love that you're in the position that you are, that you can help be a part of that stepping stone for them to have a better future.
Absolutely.
Good shit.
Even
dude.
put a gym on site.
Yeah.
Big part of my day is training. We try to give back to the guys, show them what a healthy lifestyle. Having a gym on site and has definitely helped a lot, man. A lot of those guys take advantage of it. Some get up early and train before or after work.
Nice.
I feel like I was in my best shape when I was on the truck and working out. It's hard to stay lean these days if you're not, because for the most part, I'm not running around. I'm in my office chair.
Same.
So gotta train, man. Gotta get the blood flowing every day. It's a big part of my life.
I love it, dude. And where did the name True Friends come from? Because like how you said that, like true friend, like that was the idea.
What's funny, man, I clearly I was just like brainstorming before I started a moving company, like what name I wanted to do, what color, what the brand would look like. So the brand is me and my dog, like he's since passed, but like just a guy and a dog sitting there like arm in arm. People love dogs. Like they say in marketing, branding with pets and animals, just help people connect a lot more.
Hell yeah.
It's crazy how many times people will call nowadays and say, I love the dog. I remember the dog, and it's like, all right, and then the color blue is like comforting, it's trustworthy. And plus like all the other major companies, there's like a red is Fox, white is All My Sons, orange is College Chunk. So there was no big blue, so we're blue.
Yeah.
And probably honestly would have went with red had I not, had there not been a Fox, but blue.
Blue works though, yeah.
And true friends, like I was kind of between like best friends, true friends, because the old term probably people have said forever is because when it's time to move, true friends are always there for you.
Yeah.
And we actually trademarked it.
Nice, dude.
And now that's like on the side of our truck, and True Friends is super catchy. It's friendly. I feel like it's very brandable, scalable.
Yeah.
And people relate to it. It's not corny. Nothing like that. Like something I've seen.
I think the branding and that's on point. I've seen your trucks before. I've seen them all over the place. Yep. So it's cool. Like I know the guy that runs that shit.
Yeah, that's right.
I can tell when I see your trucks out and about, I'm just gonna tell a random person like that's my boy Chris. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? They're gonna,
you'll see more now. You'll see them everywhere.
Oh yeah, for sure.
What's funny, man, now they're like, the True Friends moving the big blue trucks, and they'll say no. I was like, I bet you see one tomorrow now that we talk about it.
Oh yeah.
It usually happens because we are everywhere. I mean, we dominate Middle Tennessee, man. We have the largest fleet in Middle Tennessee. Just to give, True Friends a shout out, like we won Best of Nashville last 4 years in a row.
Nice.
Best of Music City the last 3 years in a row. And those are the big ones, but we also win Best of Rutherford County, Williamson County, Mount Juliet, Hendersonville. We just wipe the floor with against other movement companies when it comes to competition.
That's
there
cool.
is none.
Nice, man. And that's, I think all that has to do with the culture you built.
Definitely.
The guys that are with you believe in you, but you believe in them as well. And they're more than just an employee, man. Y'all are true friends. For corny as it sounds, me saying that way.
We want to leave feeling like that. I mean, we want to leave with hugs and friends for life. I mean, once you're here, you're family.
That's cool. I mean, and honestly, it's like as I grow my business, right? Eventually, I'm gonna get back to the apparel. I've re-geared the whole brand and everything just because of the season I'm at in my life, and I write about that a lot. Just the journey, man. But as I grow and okay, I got somebody that does the podcast stuff, or I've got people that are handling the apparel, this and that and the other. That's the kind of environment I want, And it can be hard just because I think you kind of evolve into it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm all about the team, and I try to start off with just hey, y'all are my team. Here's a bunch of free shit, and then you realize you got a bunch of people a part of something that you've sold them on that really don't owe you shit. And then so there can be those things you have to go through, and then you start flat on your back, and then you're like, oh crap, those guys aren't there. But at the end of the day, you grew into what you had eventually, right? And so I'm just kind of at a different place. But yeah, dude, what I'm getting at is I appreciate how pumped up you get about that, because I desire that as I grow.
Exciting.
I want to have that same shit. God, I love y'all. Thanks for your damn efforts today. Let's rock it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying?
Culture is everything, man. It really keeps me fired up. I mean, my door is always open. Anytime I'm in the office. I mean, I love the camaraderie within our team, and whether it's admins or guys on the truck, man. I love those guys.
Oh yeah, I love it, dude. It reminds me of the Zoom call I had with you last week, and someone was like, someone was like, hey, trying to get your attention. You're like, dude, I'm on a meeting.
Yeah, literally, my office door was open in the middle of a Zoom. I probably shouldn't do that, but I try to stay available and let them know I'm in here working. Yeah,
I love to. I love training, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I never have I'm definitely one of those people I like to train solo, get in my zone. Nobody.
I usually do
bother
too.
me.
I said, I just hired a trainer for the first time of my life.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, I train solo.
Yeah, man. But it's also I don't know. It's good to have those bro sessions sometimes. Yeah. To push some heavyweight together.
Oh, for sure.
It's good I like to throw that in my bad. I like to throw that in every once in a while because I don't know. It's good for you to get something different every once in a while, but I like just being in my zone, dude. Don't bother me. I got a bunch of burpees to do, and I got to get this shit done. I just love training, man. Yeah, it's such a staple.
It's a big part of my life and day for sure, man. I need that to just be myself.
I don't know what I'd do without it. Yeah, I'd lose my mind. Yeah.
Probably drink more.
Oh God,
who knows?
Yeah, dude.
Who knows? Bad habits for sure.
Yeah, man. I rarely drink now. Even then, I think I just kind of phased out of it. My wife, I like red wine.
Okay.
I love Cabernets and Pinots.
I like bourbon.
Oh, you like bourbon? See, I used to love bourbon, but I started drinking wine.
Yeah.
When I first moved to Murfreesboro after my past that whole thing, and I just got to where that's all I'll drink. If I go to a restaurant or a bar, I'll even order wine. People are looking at me I just love wine, dude. It makes me feel good.
Okay.
Just gives me mellow. Bourbon and liquors just kind of I've always been more of a temperamental type. And so they always trigger kind of things in me that I don't really like.
Okay.
Wine just keeps me just super
yeah,
I'm good.
Yep.
I'm good.
It's a good place to be.
And I don't got to piss a bunch and I don't get bloated. I love it. Yep. So dude, I have that's the retirement. That's the post brand building is Relentless Pursuit, vineyards. You know what I'm saying?
Your own bottle.
Yeah. I'm just out there. You drive out and you see me just in a white outfit, stepping on grapes. I'm just hey, my hair is growing out. You're what the hell happened to Joe?
I'll come visit, man.
Play my cello. Yep. No, but I did want to. So, shit. Where were you finishing up? Oh yeah, we were talking about the culture there, And off camera, we were discussing, you also, there was a point though, you had to wear all the hats.
Oh yeah.
And it's important to highlight that because that's the stuff that people don't see.
Yeah, people don't see the behind the scenes of like what it took and how many years it took of just doing it all. Like I was telling you that, for really about 5 years, man, I was working at my house, it was like a closet / desk that I worked in there for like trying to do everything, whether it was sales, HR, customer service. I mean, I did it all day, every day. And a big part of that, was honestly kind of fun. I enjoyed the, just call after call after call of just, hustling, grinding, because I knew I was trying to build something. But it took, honestly, one of my main guys getting in a motorcycle accident. Ben Reeves, shout out to Ben. He actually, took him out of his moving career, but realized that I definitely didn't want to lose him. So I'm like, bro, I got to get you into the office doing some things, helping me out. Once I had that extra person, I'm like, oh wow, this is what I've been missing.
Yeah.
Had some free time, took some of the things that I didn't like customer service part of the business, kind of like oversaw that more. And I was like, wow. And that really showed me like how to break through that plateau. Cause I was at my limit then, man, trying to do it all. Once I had that dialed in and he's in the office, I mean, got an office, like rented a little spot. And, realized that I needed a person for like this department. So then we had like customer service, like dispatcher, all the different pieces that really make a business grow and thrive. Took that happening for us to really learn how to scale, because like I said, up to that point, man, I didn't know how to run a business. I was just winging it. Kind of figured out the wrong way to do stuff to figure out how to do it the right way.
There's value in that though.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hard lessons, dude. But I'm like, bro, dude, you get me fired up because like, man, there's been a lot of tough lessons. And like this shit, I didn't go to business school. I didn't know business. I just know like I got a vision and I'm going to pursue it and learn along the way.
Yep.
But with those shitty parts, man, you learn so much, and like you have to live it. You can read about it or people can tell you, but like having to experience that kind of part where you have to transform or fail or whatever the case is, and you learn the lesson there. Like no book or nobody can teach you that. You have to experience it, man. And that's the best teacher there is, dude, is experience.
Honestly, the fact that nobody told that I didn't know how to do it and we did it. I mean that, and like, so like when I was coming up, I remember this one moving company called Zoom. I remember riding by them. They had like a row of moving trucks. I'm like, man, I want to be like them one day. I'm over here with like one truck thinking how I'm going to make it. Well, this is at a time like the social media was like turning before that it was Yellow Pages, your presence in like in print.
Yeah.
Now it was like all going online. So right when I'm shifting into it, these companies that were like dominating, they were like dinosaurs essentially, because once I came in and I'm like really hammering everything, the online presence just like dominated it, but nobody told them like to change. So I'm coming in just with this new way to do it.
Yeah.
And like quickly dominated it. So like the companies that I looked up to back then have already went out of business, and then we've just like catapulted past them. And so I feel like learning it my way versus like somebody had told me how to do it the old school way is the reason that like we've been able to just scale so quickly and just dominate in our area.
Yeah, dude. I love that, man. So you came in like a right time and you were utilizing what you had. Like you also had to be able to afford to pay for the print stuff.
Yeah.
Social media was free.
I remember like my first little Yellow Page ad, man. That was like one of those I made it moments. Like
you got it cut out in your office.
Like, oh yeah, still have that.
Hell yeah.
But like I think maybe a year or two later, like that, YP was just done. There's not even a place you advertise anymore. It was all on social. It was all like your presence online, like Google rankings, things like that was everything. But it was such a fast transition to that a lot of the companies that didn't start setting that, like they just fell off so quick.
Damn, man.
That's like Blockbuster,
Yeah.
They just went out so quick because they didn't change.
Yeah, it's kind of sad because it's like, damn, they missed that. Here that there was obviously a lot of work that started somewhere.
Yeah.
So you think about that, man. It's kind of crazy if you don't really pay attention to the evolution of things, especially nowadays, man. It's just evolving quicker and quicker. Like you got to stay on it. And there's things I've even been like, nah, I ain't, screw that. But that I've learned how to kind of, man, you got to be able to adapt to so much fast change, especially with technological, pushes and so on. And either you're going to utilize whatever's coming and grow, or someone's utilizing these things and they're going to outgrow you, and you're going to fall in the same place that like one of those companies did because they missed it. You know, it's easy to scoff at things and be like, oh, that's not going to work. But actually pay attention, take a moment to do so, because it could be the thing that puts you out.
Keep an eye out for like the young new companies too, to like see what they're doing, because I was at once that young new company and there's always somebody coming up hungry to take, you know, off the pedestal. So like, I'm always like, I try to honestly befriend a lot of my local competitors. I mean, I don't really consider them competitors. I mean, I try to like give back any way I can. I'm trying to elevate the, you know, the market in the industry, because if like, I feel like there's enough for everybody. You know, that's the good thing about like my industry. I feel like I just try to give back as much as I can, man. And that's, they give me referrals and I give them, you know, referrals as well.
Especially in like most industries, like, Terry,
a lot of times they're like, you know, they don't want to,
my secrets.
Yeah. Secrets, man. It's like, man, there's enough for everybody, bro. We got to bring up that, the whole market.
Dude, Terry says it when I was on their ground up thing, and, Terry Barger told you about that meeting I had with them. But anyways, he says, community, not competition. Oh, that's great. And like, I think there's always going to be that competitive edge. I think that's what like drives you in a way. Like, I'm always going to look, there's going to be other brands out there to do similar things. And I know the individual, whatever, like, dude, I'm going to support you. I'm going to listen to your stuff. I'm going to buy your shirts. Yeah. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to want to see more of my shirts out there. Does that make sense? I want to see my logo more. Doesn't mean I don't believe in you and I'm not going to support you. Because like, if more people are wearing your brand, well, then you're doing something I'm not doing. So you got to kind of pay attention, but I think that's healthy. Yeah. Right. You help each other grow. That's community as well. Friendly competition.
Competition.
Yeah.
Man.
It's supposed to be like that. But then people
I'll support you, but I still want to be nominated as the best in the area, you know?
Yeah.
Of course. And I don't want to be like dethroned, and I'll make sure like we're winning at all the things that we're supposed to win in, but like, I still want to help you level up.
Exactly.
I'm not going to get everybody.
Exactly. And you can go so far with stabbing people in the back. You may make billions of dollars, but you're going to look around, ain't nobody going to be there. Yeah. You know,
the place to be.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't want to be in that position.
Exactly, man. Damn, there's one thing I wanted to highlight that you said too. This is such a good topic too, because a lot of this stuff's relatable. You know, I'm in my season, but like you've been through that. Oh, I did want to ask, like, when it came time for you to delegate things, was it hard for you at first, like to give up control of it?
I mean, it still is, honestly. You're like, you know, so the biggest part of my day, even currently, man, I love sales and marketing. I mean, I had to give away, you know, I had to hire another sales rep to handle these things. I had to, you know, recently got into more like VAs helping with like, you know, appointment setting and just like business development, things like that. I mean, it's definitely hard to give that away and hope someone else, you know, does it to your standard. Yeah. But it's a big part of growing, man. I feel like if you know, even if the next person can help you out and do it at 80%, but you get 100% of your time back to do something different. Yeah. That's fine, man. I'll take it. I'll take that 80 here and the 80 here and the 80 here. And then you're at 1,000% when you was only capped at 100. You know?
Exactly, dude. That's a good way to put it, man. Hell yeah. So, I mean, because I know at some point there's going to be those times for me and I'm going to be like, I take a deep breath, just have faith. You know what I'm saying? It's tough,
man. It's definitely tough. But I look at it like, hey, can they do like 80%? Can they do the things that you either don't like, not good at, or just someone can do better?
Yeah, because no one's gonna love it like you do. Yeah. Like that's just how it is. Yeah. You know, it's your creation, right? So no one's gonna have the same heart for it that you do. Yeah. But if you have several people pouring.
Try to give away, I mean, the 80-20 rule, you know, where you spend like the majority of your time doing the things that you don't like. Like if you could just keep letting go of that 80% and focusing on your 20, like I feel like if you can delegate most of it, man, and like let other people run with it, like you'll just be, you know, you'll be light years ahead of
hell yeah,
where
man.
You're trying to be.
Good shit, dude. Well, thanks for sharing all that, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, yes,
dude,
sir.
You got me fired up. You look fired up. You ready? Yeah. You better go get on with this. I picture you like you said you like sometimes miss the moving part. I just picture you like seeing one of your guys roll out and you're just at the window, just like. I want to go.
Yeah.
Just like,
I mean, probably
kind of have a moment.
Even to, I mean, this in the past year, I mean, I probably ended up still on the trucks a few times. I mean, it happens. Like at this point in my business, I mean, we have backup for backup. You know? Yeah. So like our guys, I mean, we try to book as much as we can handle. You know, even like setting up for, hey, even if a few people don't show up, we've got backup for that. So only in a perfect storm do I have to go out these days, which I do love it. Every time I get to go out with my guys working one-on-one, I mean, that camaraderie, respect is just next level when you do get to do that. But it's just also not the best use of my time usually if I'm out, moving the furniture too.
For sure. It's just good every once in a while.
Oh, yeah.
It's like you're putting on that outfit though. And and it's like theme music's playing. You're like, dude, they're like, oh my God, there he is. He's rolling with us today.
I got to get a video and a picture every time to capture the moment. I don't know when the last one will be, but damn it, today where I'm out here with the fellas.
I love it, man. I might have to come join y'all one day.
Come on.
I'll list some stuff.
I'd love to put you in a blue shirt.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. That'll be part of I'll do some content with that. And I'll move some shit.
Let's go.
I got you, bro. I like picking things up.
All right.
That's what they did to me in the military. I loaded munitions and stuff, and it was like, just like a work mule. I was like, all right, I guess there's worse things I could be. Yeah. But no, man, that's really cool. And hey, you still miss those inner workings, and I think that's important because you love your business and you poured a lot into it, and you've come from the circumstances that you have in order to create that. It's been a wild journey, man.
It's been a long ride.
And you're only 40.
Yeah.
There's so much capability out there. And I do want to ask you, because to me, I think personally, it's like I said this before, man, because I had a hard time for a while there, like recognizing success. And I put a lot of pressure on myself in an unhealthy way mentally. And I had to come to the conclusion and realize that, like, dude, if my business burnt down tomorrow, all I got to do is look at my wife and daughter and be like, dude, I freaking won at life. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, anything can happen on a financial business scale, just like that. But then if you got something like that to lean into, you realize, like, you're good. Yeah, it's going to suck, but at the same time, but you got that foundation there that's the most important. So elaborate on your family a little bit, man.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the biggest part of my life. I mean, my wife, I have 2 daughters. They're everything, really. I mean, the highlight of my day is coming home to the girls, them running up, saying daddy's home, things like that.
You're going to make me get emotional.
Yeah. I mean, you got so much to look forward to at 2, man. It just gets better and better and better. And then obviously there's a turning point. I mean, my 11-year-old is finally like, knock on the door before you come in, or, no, I don't want to go do that with you. The little one is still like, everything is like, she wants to like snuggle, or she wants me to hold her, wants me to play with her. She still has like, there's not enough daddy time to be had.
And that stuff's awesome.
Yeah. So, just milk it up when you can, man. Cause there's not it goes by too quick, unfortunately.
Yeah, it does, man. I reflect on that. I mean, I work some long days, but I come in super early so I can be home to spend that time with them. And yeah, dude, I mean, it's like, it's crazy. I get in my door and my daughter, she says, "Daddy." And like, yeah. And she just runs to me and she's like, she's becoming, cause at around 2, they start becoming like more affectionate and stuff too. Like, I'm always loving her, but now like I'll pick her up and she'll be like, she'll grab my cheeks and then she'll put her arms around me and pat my head. And it's just like, you look at her and she's like sharing her love now in that way. And that's just, dude, it's like, dude, it washes everything away. And I look at my wife and then she's amazing as hell. And dude, I look forward to all the evolution of my daughter for sure. Like I'm excited to see her grow and accomplish great things, because I know she will, but it doesn't mean I want it to come soon, right? Because I'm like, holy shit, this almost 2 years has gone by like that. You can,
man. Yeah, because time goes by quick. I mean, now they're into their sports and dancing and volleyball. I actually just signed up to be a coach on volleyball for my oldest. So
nice. You got some experience?
No, just gonna wing it. But I'm pretty good at being a coach, So we'll just make do. That's probably the only thing that I've enjoyed playing with them. Like, they've done obviously dance and gymnastics, but volleyball, I could actually play with them volleyball. Yeah, and that'd be cool.
No, volleyball. Honestly, it's like we talk about sports and stuff like that's something. I think my daughter's gonna be kind of tall. My wife's like 5'9". I'm 6'2". So I feel like she may be tall, but she could be short. But I was like, man, volleyball would be cool.
My oldest, the one that's really into volleyball, is like one of the tallest in her class. And then my youngest, she loves volleyball, and she's like the smallest in her class.
Really?
So it's funny, the dynamics. But, of course, the little one wants to do everything the big one wants to do.
Of course. Yeah. One day we'll have another, man. Yeah, dude, fatherhood, when did you have – okay, so you said they're 11 and what?
7.
11 and 7. So
So we waited a couple of years. So like we started dating. We got married on our 4-year anniversary, and then waited a couple of more years to have our first kid. So we just celebrated our 17-year anniversary with 11-year-old kid. So, we definitely I feel like we went the right, pace and path in life as far as like waiting to do this, waiting to do that.
Yeah.
Wasn't like a whoops kid or got to get married now that we had a kid or nothing like that.
Yeah. Now my wife and I proposed. I met her 6 months later. I proposed. A month later, she found out she was pregnant. But also like, I was also met her above 30. Mm-hmm. I'd been engaged twice before. And with her, it was just like, it was so natural too. Like it's all seemed like it happened fast, but it happened how it was supposed to. Okay. We were led to each other. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think y'all got together at a younger age too. So
22 and 23, I believe.
Exactly.
23 and 24. We were young.
So I met her like a decade later, so just a totally different season of my life. And like, I knew this is what I wanted. We were like, we want kids together. We do it like that. And
we're so different too. Like she, you heard about my past. Her past was like, she went to, school, good grades, went to college, like 4-year degree, worked in the medical field. She worked in the medical field up for 10 full years up until we had our second kid, to then get into the business where it just made more sense instead of working in the hospital to actually work on the family business.
Yeah, for sure.
So, up until that point though, that was like her life and her path. Yeah. So I saw that also as like, she's, of course beautiful with a good, caring heart, but also like I looked at her like that stable. I needed that because I never had that path. Yeah. So like if we could join forces with my my visionary and her like I guess keeping everything on track, man, it worked well together even in business.
100%, dude. I love that, man. Yeah, dude, that's cool. And when you were kind of in that building season of where it was like you were wearing all the hats, so you had your first, or at least at this time, right? So were you kind of going through the beginning stages of the business while being a new father?
Oh yeah, that was, man. There's funny videos of her like beating on my door. My daughter at like 2 or 3 saying like, "Daddy," or no, she'd say, Christopher. And me and they're like trying to like be on the phone and like work because I didn't have an office. I'm just like working while having like a baby and a kid. I mean, it was definitely a fun part of my life, juggling new fatherhood, new business, trying to figure all out as I went, but wouldn't trade any of it, man. Dude, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's and they're able to see that.
Yeah.
Because you stuck it out. Your daughters, like, whether they understood it then, they were a part of it, and so they understand that drive and like what it takes to like pursue your dreams and make things happen. And so that's something they're going to take with them. Yep. So I think it's great. I mean, hell, I basically started my business over when I moved into this building, and at that time, I also got married and we had my daughter all within the same year.
Wow.
Like, it's a lot of changes at once.
So I got married, left my corporate career, and bought a moving truck in the same year. What's funny, my wife, because like I said, she was like going that route, and I like when I was gonna quit Dell to start a moving company, she just couldn't believe it. Like, tried to talk me out of it. Heard her mom in tears, thinking like that I was gonna like quit Dell to be a mover. Just couldn't get it.
Oh,
and thank God I made it. But like at the time, like trying to talk me out of it, like what?
Yeah, it is, but it
was unknown.
She stuck with you through
the
it.
Unknown.
Yeah, and you're just like, and I'm sure that those conversations are tough.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, even early on, until my wife's truly seen like she's been a great and supportive the whole time through, but you're going to have those tough conversations because you're the only one that sees the vision at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter if anybody else does it, but when your spouse, if it's hard for them to see it, that's where it can be difficult. Because I told my wife, I was like, everybody else can be like, Joe, you're an idiot. Stop. But if you're like, keep going, I believe in you, I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, that's the one you need to maybe not see the vision like you do, but to believe in it.
Yeah.
And so
it's a big part, man, to having someone behind you to like, see where you want to go and help keep it on the track. Cause, even though I'm a visionary, like putting all the pieces together and like, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. I mean, she's better at that part of the business than I am. Like, I can quickly say, yes, I want to do this, and this, but like you're making sure like we do all the things to get there. I mean, it's definitely amazing to have support.
Hell yeah, man. Well, trust me, as soon as I get the opportunity, my wife's gonna be a part of RP. So that's on the vision board one day, but
Yeah.
it's going to take a bit to get there.
Yeah.
But anyways, man, I feel like we covered most of the stuff. We
Covered a lot.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're getting close to the end of this segment. We got a little bit of time. You know, we talked about 75 hard, what you're currently doing, your past, as interesting as it was, but what led you to now, man. I love your journey, dude. You've inspired me. Like I love talking to people that kind of go through some rough changes and then they teach themselves to become something, just build something great, man. And they believe in themselves and they build something beautiful too. Just the way you talk about it, like with the community that you had, the family that you have there. I love every bit of it, man. Your story is awesome. This is what gets me fired up. This is why I love this podcast, man. Cause I get to sit here and not only is it productive, but I get to hear your story and like really understand you as an individual. And you've even shared some things you haven't shared with a lot of people. And so for you to be able to share that with me, you know, on my platform, man, it means a lot too. So dude, it's been really cool, bro. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just fired up. I'm ready to go like do some shit.
Let's go do some burpees.
Yeah, right. Okay. Only got a couple hundred. It won't be too bad.
Okay.
No, man. But I really do appreciate you taking the time to come share your story. Yeah, dude. I look forward to seeing like what's in store for you because I don't know. I always say this, like no matter what growth, I'm like, I'm just still getting started. I'm just getting started. Like every day I will tell myself that. Recognize the successes, but like maintain like.
It's funny you say that because I always say I'm just a work in progress, like one day at a time, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like I've never made it. Like everywhere I'm at, there's still just so much to do, so far to go, so many things, places, people that I need in my life to get, you know, to where I want to go. And it's just never done.
Yeah.
I don't know where that hunger comes from because, I mean, from the outside looking in, it's like, you know, you like look like you might have it all, but I mean, there's still so much more that I want to do, and I'm always hungry for more. But I don't let that take away from my family life. You know, at the same time, I don't sabotage my time with the people that I love and care about for my goals. You know, but I'm still making sure I'm knocking out my goals at the, you know, and just making sure, like you said, setting them boundaries and making sure it's all done appropriately. You know.
Hell yeah, Chris, man. I mean, you've gave me some nuggets to reflect on, you know, moving forward as I do things too. So I just want to say personally, as an individual, you've been a positive impact on me as well.
Likewise, bro.
So thanks, dude. Hell yeah, bro.
Love being here.
Hell yeah. Hey, I do got one more question though.
What you got?
The final question. I ask everybody this.
Uh-oh.
And it can tie in, you know, your professional or personal, whatever it is that comes to you first. But what is your relentless pursuit?
My relentless pursuit is to, you know, build a brand and a company that able to run, you know, without me being there. Having a, you know, family to look at me like you know, that I never gave up on my goals, along with a community that knows I've always supported them along the way and gave back to my community, and just being the right type of man behind closed doors as I am in person. You know, that's those are some big check marks for me that, you know, keep me driving, going forward every day.
Dude, well said. I appreciate that. I love it. That's a perfect answer, man. So Thank you for sharing it, man. Hey, Chris, it was a good time.
Yes, sir.
Looking forward to next time, man. Looking forward to maintaining this relationship. And hell yeah, I appreciate you.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me, brother.
Yes, sir. All right. Take care.